How do I embody my soul? How do I live a life that's in alignment with my soul? And these questions is what, of course, I'm going to explore today. And I'm sorry if you can hear a lawnmower. My microphone is too good at times and it is picking up that. So there's like a little bit of a vibration in the background. But I said I was doing these every day. So here we are. Welcome to the temple. I'm Dean Bentley. And I'm jumping in to talk about how you can embody your soul and what that means. So this conversation for me is something I love because I've spent the last, 5, 6 years now going on this journey to be of service, to create a business that's in alignment with myself and continuing asking myself, what is my highest timeline? How can I embody that? And how can I continue to serve and go on my own journey of evolution? Because I see this as the way we change the world. We go on our own journey of evolution to reach more of our potential because potential is never actually met. And so on that journey, we discover who we are, what we like, what we desire. And a lot of people, when they start this, and I know I was one of them, I had no idea where to start. I was like, this talk of soul, this talk of like a call into something greater. What does that even mean? And how do I even begin to track that or find that or look for that? And so, for context, when I started this journey, I was in my last year of mechanical engineering and I realized I didn't want to be a mechanical engineer. I went through a really intense spiritual awakening where I was like, okay, there's something more for me here. And I had to go on that journey of what do I even want in this life? Where am I pulled? What are my desires? What do I want? And up until that point, I hadn't really considered it. So when we begin asking these questions, there can be a lot of overwhelm and a lot of, I don't know where to begin. And this is why I come back to the simplicity of asking yourself, what are your current problems? What do you currently desire? And if you don't know what you currently desire, well, look at what you don't desire, which is your problems, and begin to unpack them and begin to work towards solving them. So for me at the time, it was like, well, I don't want to go down becoming a mechanical engineer because that doesn't sound exciting for me. I feel like I would slowly die and numb out and be depressed and all the things that I didn't want to be. And so when I saw that, it was like, well, as part of that, there's an idea that I need to start a business. I need to go out and figure out what else I want to do with my life and what feels important or exciting. And it was that I didn't want to work for someone else. I hated it. I always felt numb. I felt um, like empty because I didn't have sovereignty upon my actions. Or that was what I told myself. And so on that journey of being like, okay, I want to start a business, I realized I saw a lot of people around me that were suffering, that were going through their own pain. And I realized, oh, I wanted to help other people. I wanted to see how I could help shift other people's lives so I could serve them and they could actually be happy. Because before this, I was quite depressed. I was anxious. I was numb. I was like avoidant of my emotions. I was shut down. And so I went on that journey and I realized so many other people needed to go on that same thing. So by solving my own problems and becoming more of myself, because that's what I was doing as I realized, oh, I wanted to share in a different way. I wanted to dress differently. I wanted to explore the world, go outside the norm of what I'd done. I realized so many people were living in a similar world and a similar box. And I was like, there's more. There is more. And so that was how I started to embody my soul. And this is the same for everyone. You actually look at your problems because your soul is telling you, I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. And when you start this journey, you'll realize what you don't want, what you don't desire. And this is a great indication of where you're getting pushed away from. And in the pushing away, you're getting pulled towards what you do want. And a lot of us don't actually know what we do desire at the start of the journey. It can feel confusing. It can feel like there's so much here. I have no idea what this is about. Why would I know what to do, right? And so you've got to start with your problems. And this will begin to show you what you don't want. And if you're like, if you don't know what your vision is, because this is part of embodying your soul, like your vision is a vehicle that you get to drive towards embodying your soul, because any good vision will invite you into a greatness of yourself that asks that you go beyond who you currently are. And this is something that's key, something that's needed for you to go beyond what you're currently in. So, a good vision. And if you don't know where to start with a vision, start with your anti vision, or a vision you don't want. So, if you are in a place where you're like, I don't know what I want, well, what don't you want? You've probably had an experience of what you don't want. Maybe it's working a job you don't like. Maybe it's working for someone else. Maybe it's making a certain amount of money. Maybe it's having a relationship that you don't desire. And so when you begin to consider this of, oh, I don't like that, you can begin to shift and pivot towards what you do want. Now, this is important because it allows you to expand and allows you to see, okay, what's on the other side of that, your actual vision, and you will begin to move towards it naturally because you're being pushed away from what you don't want. And on the way towards that vision, you will be asked, what do you need to expand into to become that version of you that is capable of creating that vision? So for me, in my coaching business, it was like I wanted to serve people. Firstly, I had to learn how to coach. I had to learn how to mentor and do all the processes I was doing with myself for other people. Secondly, I had to learn how to market. I had to learn how to sell. They weren't things I originally thought I would have to do upon my journey. It was like, oh, I didn't think that was going to be a part of it. And then I realized it was. So I started going down that path of learning about money, finances, my limiting beliefs around money, connecting to what it means to hold my own worth. So I knew that I was bringing value to people and I was embodied with that, in that, without shutting down or contracting and owning. No, this is what it's worth. If you want it, cool. If you don't, that's also okay. Let's have a chat about that, or I'll talk to you another time when you're ready for this work. And so that level of ownership and claiming of this is what it's worth. So on that journey towards a vision, we actually meet the obstacles along the way that is going to invite us into the deeper embodiment of our soul. And the only way you can begin is by beginning. Because at the start, the vision probably feels really, really fucking big. And it might feel scary, it might feel daunting, and you don't know where to begin. Well, that's great. There's a first step for you. There's a first step, and you may be terrified of it, but there's something that's asking you to do it. And it doesn't have to be big, though it could be. It could be like, I'm going to do a post on social media. Or it could be like, I need to leave my job and relationship. It could be the extremes of everything. Or it could just be like, I need to have a conversation. I need to tell someone I like them. I need to ask someone out. Like, there's all these things. Like, embodying your soul could be as simple as, I desire a relationship. Okay, that's the journey you want to go on, because that's going to invite a potential of yourself into the world. So if you've been someone who's been single or single for a while and you're like, actually, I want a relationship now, there's a journey you go on to create that relationship, and that will help you embody more of your soul in the world. It is the same with business or service or whatever it is you're doing. You need to go on a journey to get to the vision, and along the way, you embody more of your soul's potential. And you're going to be asked to do this so you can serve, so you can share yourself, so you can be more of yourself. And so that's where you start. You start with where you want to go, the problems you're having, have a look at what that means you desire. If you're a relationship, it's like, I desire a relationship, cool. What's the first step towards that? What's the thing you're afraid to do? Because that is probably the first step for you. The piece that you're afraid of is going to be the one that helps you move towards what you want. It's going to be scary, it's going to be confronting, and that's exactly what you need to step into what you're here to be. So enjoy that, take care, and enjoy.